What's going on? Welcome to another live edition of Real Fans, Real Talk. We're gonna have to start calling these the Olympic editions, for the summer while we got the Olympics going on. Because shout out to the United States because we out here kicking butt and taking names right now in the Olympics. We just upped it on them in the medal count right now. We got about 71, 71 medals in total. And the rest is like far behind us. There's looking like the difference in medal in the medal count is like how Team USA been beating these other countries in basketball. Like them scores, it's like that. It's double figures. 26. But we're gonna get into all that in a minute. Let me introduce my co-host, my brother, Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games. What's going on, man?
Listen, what's really good, man? I'm only here to criticize Steve Kerr. I want to know why Joel Embiid didn't play the other day. I want to know why Anthony Davis didn't start. That's the only reason I'm here, Trip. Other than that, everything else sounds great. But we're just here to criticize Steve Kerr for the minutes that he's playing, guys.
Hey, listen, I don't know what's going on, man. These games, they're not supposed to be winning like this, man.
Yeah, I don't.
They. It was
I don't
nervous. Everybody was nervous. What happened?
No, I don't like anything. I don't like AE doing creative dunks on fast breaks. I don't like Embiid replacing guys in the starting lineup after he didn't play. This is completely ridiculous, and this is beneath us as a country.
Yeah, I listen, man. We outside, man. Let me just shout out a couple of people, and then I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna get to these comments. Here. Shout out to everybody dropping them comments. Y'all keep the comments coming in. Shout out to Deshaundre Washington. Hope I'm saying your name right. First in the chat. Big shout out to you. But yeah, we got a couple of gold medalists right now. USA, like I said, they didn't want a gold medal in golf, and they got a couple in track and field. They got gymnastics. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to them. And shout out to Tori Huss. She's one of the swimmers. She's actually right now tied for the most individual medals right now with 5. She has 3 gold and 2 silver medals. So big shout out to Tori Husk. But yeah, man, USA basketball. Was what the talk has been about, Eric. Blowout after blowout after blowout, and I'm just gonna, right now I'm gonna lump the ladies in there too because they don't extend the district again, and it's been blowout after blowout after blowout. So big shout out to Team USA men and women.
Absolutely. Team USA basketball is doing exactly what I thought, what you thought, what most of us thought they were going to do, and that's dominate. And they both look great. And now we go into the elimination round, the one and done round, and I'm excited to see what they do there. But I expect them to continue to dominate.
Absolutely. Is there any country that you think can slow up what Team USA is doing right now?
On the women's side, no. The women's side, this is, I don't even know how many years we're into this now with the women's team. They don't play any game within 20 points. Let's call it what it is. The men's side obviously gets a little more difficult because we know there's a lot of NBA talent in some of these other countries. We're talking about Canada, we're talking about France. So there it could get a little trickier. But for the women, no. I think we know what the women's side is going to look like. And this is all window dressing at this point.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you on that. I am looking forward to seeing this Canada game. Seeing them at some point play Canada because I think that's gonna be a very interesting game. Just because Canada's pretty much all NBA'd out too. Even though it's like I probably with the exception of maybe like Shea, I probably say that's like the B tier in the NBA. Some of those guys might be C tier too, but. No, respectfully. I don't mean that,
There's
I'm just
a
saying.
lot of good guys on that team, Trip. Don't say that. Don't say that, and then people keep that clip.
No, I'm saying in if we're in comparison to Team USA, you would say the Team USA is the top tier, and the guys that are on the Canadian team, like I said, with the exception of Shea, are like a tier or 2 down in NBA rankings. None of those guys. I mean, like I said, with the exception of Shea, who else is ranked in the top 10? Playing for
Top
Canada.
10?
Yeah, in the NBA.
Yeah, probably not top 10. You're right. You're probably right about that. All right, man.
Yeah, I ain't disrespecting nobody. We just,
I think
facts is facts.
you got like Jamal Murray, who's just outside of that top 15.
You know, he's not even playing well in this Olympics.
Yeah, I was about to say. So yeah, I mean, in terms of top 10 NBA players, yeah, Team USA has a majority of them. Obviously, Luka and Joker play for their country. They're two guys that are not on Team USA that are top 10 players. But for the most part, Team USA probably has 7 of the top 10 players in the league.
Yeah, basically. Let me go to. I'm gonna take. Hold on. Let me go to Pooh. Shout out to Pooh. What's up, Pooh? Let's salute the USA women's team on winning their pool play. Now it's to the one and done games. Wilson and Stewie been leading. I think they won 58 straight Olympic games. Yeah. The ladies are dominating as they usually do. I don't see their streak stopping anytime soon. Because they continue to dominate every country that they play, and it's really not even close.
It's not. It ain't much else to say, Trip. It's not close.
Let me go to Hoop Ball Scoop. USA men defeat South Sudan 103-86 at a bio 18-7, Durant 14, Edwards 13. Then they beat Puerto Rico 104-83, Ant-Man 26, and B 13, Durant 11. Impressive wins, no doubt. But to me, watching them, why don't they get out and run? Magic Johnson pushed the ball. Phil, we have a half court team. I mean, the NBA is a half court league, though. So realistically, why isn't anyone stopping them? Right, that's really the question you should ask, because there's no reason for us to change up the game plan when we're beating teams. The way Team USA has been running these cats out the gym.
Yeah, I mean, to use Magic in here is tough because Magic is one of the greatest point guards. So obviously his IQ for the game and what he wants to do is going to be different. Team USA isn't playing with a true point guard. They got a couple good guards on there, but there's no one of that caliber of like an elite point guard style. So they're not pushing as much. But also we highlighted last week, there's so much guard talent on this team. There's going to be moments where they're going to feel like, nah, let me get my offense going. Let me let you get your offense going, as opposed to let's just get up and down the court and get some easy shots. So I think it's a tricky balance that they have, because you want to keep everybody involved. You want to let everybody get their rhythm. But in order to do that, you kind of have to play more half court basketball as opposed to get up and down.
Yeah, there you go. Listen, man, we was up here talking about what Team USA was going to do when the exhibition games was going on. They didn't pretty much. It's been a blowout in every game that they've played since the real games started going down. Right? There's nothing else that needs to be said. That's it. They're doing what they're supposed to do, and it's not just, oh, we won by one. LeBron had to save us, or we was up by, we had a 3-point lead, and that's it. No, they are dominating every team that they play with this style that they're playing right now. You gotta come to our turf, and you gotta stop us, and nobody can do that. And it hasn't been close yet. But I am looking forward to seeing that game against Canada.
Canada,
if they meet each other.
Yeah, Canada and maybe France because of the Wemby Gobert combination in the paint. But I feel like Team USA, this is damned if you do, damned if you don't. We talked about when South Sudan almost upset them, people wonder what was wrong with this team. And last week, somebody even asked, like, can South Sudan hang? And I said, I don't think they'll hang this time. It's a different mindset. Kevin Durant didn't play in the first game, so obviously it'll be a little different. And then now that Team USA is blowing teams out, then it's still kind of like, well, they're not doing this. To this point with Hoop Baller School, why they not running? Why they not pushing more? Why they not getting up court? Last week it was, do you like Steve Kerr? Like, what is he doing wrong as a coach? Like, he ain't doing nothing wrong. They winning pretty easily. And I don't see anybody really challenging them outside of the two teams that we continue to talk about, which is Canada and France.
I don't get it. I'm looking forward to that matchup too, though, because I know that's going to be Embiid's game when they play against France.
And that's shout out to Will Gordon. I don't know if Will's in here yet, but that's why last week when he said Jared Allen, no disrespect to Jared Allen, you don't want Jared Allen when you play in France. You want Joel Embiid in that game. There you go. Shout out to Will, bro. How you doing?
Will, what up? You camming up? You gonna rock out this week? Drop a comment and let us know. Hold on, let me go to. I gotta shout somebody out on here. Let me take her comment right here. Shout out to Imani. She had a birthday. Her birthday just passed. Happy birthday, to Imani.
Happy
She
birthday.
says, "Has this USA team wowed y'all yet?" Um, I'm not gonna say wowed us because we see this all the time. This ain't nothing. It's not really nothing new. But I am impressed with the way they're dominating these other countries.
Um, it's tough for me to say wild because I expected this. I don't. I don't think you'll be hard pressed to find anybody who didn't think Team USA was going to dominate the way they've been dominating. So I wouldn't say wild. I've I've liked watching them play. I think defensively they've been really good. I think Kevin Durant has played like the superstar we all expect him to play like on a regular basis. I think it's been great to see LeBron have these type of performances in his last Olympic go round. So I wouldn't say wild, but I definitely have enjoyed watching him play.
Yeah, it's been a good couple of games. Hold on, let me see. I see we got one more. Oh yeah, shout out to Kyrie Thompson. Congrats, Kevin Durant, on becoming the USA Olympic team all-time rebounder. Add another, you know what I'm saying? Dash to the resume. That's what we out here doing. We just adding on to the resume at this point with Kevin Durant, who has, people was wondering if he was going to even play in this Olympics. And he just been lights out since he got on the court. It's he's been playing some great basketball. And we talked about it last week. Had he passed Carmelo as the, I guess, GOAT Olympian, and we said yes last week, but he's just adding on to that resume right now.
Yeah, that's a fact. He is the greatest men's basketball Olympian. I think we established that last week. He just continues to add to it.
Hmm. Exactly. Let me see who's next. Oh yeah, Kyrie. Let me. You know what? Let me go to this one. What's the deal with Jamal Murray? He's averaging 5.6 points, shooting 33% and 10% on threes. Um, he ain't playing on the Denver Nuggets. You know, that's that's that. I mean, that's it. That's his team where he has that. They already have that chemistry built. He doesn't have to change. You know what I'm saying? Anything he's already set doing. And playing to his best abilities. When you come into an Olympic team, especially because Canada for the most part is the same thing as the United States in regards of the U.S. team is not playing year round together. Our Olympic team, and whereas the other countries around the world, they're playing together for years, basically the same teams. So you have a different kind of chemistry. And then now, for Jamal Murray, who's actually he was coming off the bench. I don't know if they put him in the starting lineup yet, or not. But yeah, you have to change things up. And again, you don't have the same security blankets that you have with the Denver Nuggets. Everybody doesn't look good when you put them on the floor with the best of the best. That's why you see even in like the All-Star games in the NBA, you see certain guys are still the guys they are for their teams during the season, and then some guys kind of fall back.
Yeah, he's definitely struggled. And as you highlighted, maybe he just doesn't have that same rhythm that he would have during the regular season with his team. He's still a big money player, though. Historically, we've seen the way he's played in the playoffs, so we know he shows up when the stakes rise. But if they play Team USA, I think Anthony Edwards is calling him out. That's the matchup Anthony Edwards wants. You saw him defend him in the playoffs. Anthony Edwards had a lot of success against Jamal Murray as a defender. So that's going to be the one matchup to watch if they cross paths because he has struggled. And I think Anthony Edwards, that type of defender gives him trouble. Those long, athletic, physical defenders give him some trouble. So I expect him to play a little better. And those numbers may not mean nothing if he has a great, elimination game in the next go round.
Yeah. Let me go back to Imani. So how did D Wade get the gig to call USA games? You heard him. Yeah, I have. I mean, D Wade is a gold medalist. I think D Wade has two, right? If I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. D-Wade has 2 gold medals, and it's basketball. He ain't out here. He ain't calling track and field, right? He just calling the basketball games. I ain't mad at it. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you know, D Wade is arguably the third best two guard of all time. So I'm not mad at D Wade talking basketball, which is something that he does better than most.
Yeah, I mean, he got the gig because he got to promote his nail polish line that's going to be coming out soon. So this
I
was,
like
like a little. Nah, you know what's going on, Trip. This is a little bit of branding, and maybe he's trying to transition to that next phase of his career, but he has not been good calling these games, and that's not for everybody. D Wade, great NBA player, great international player with his accomplishments in the Olympics. So we'll never take that away from him, but that does not mean that he is qualified to call an NBA game, or that he would be somebody who we would be excited to hear call an NBA game. It just doesn't work that way.
All right. Dion Hoops page says LeBron kind of slowed down since the preseason games. I, I mean, I don't know how he slowed down. He's averaging double digit points. He's averaging his rebounds, assists, everything is on par. The only difference is, with the exhibition games and now is Kevin Durant is back. So he is gonna, alleviate some of what LeBron has to do now. But it's not like he was playing good and then he started playing bad. He's still playing, what I'm saying, very, very well. It's just that Kevin Durant is also there. And now things have kind of be spread out. And that's good. So you don't need LeBron trying burning himself out trying to carry the team. It should be everybody, doing what they need to do for them to win the way they have been, and that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, Braun played really well against Serbia in that first round robin game. That pool play. Yeah, that was the night that him and KD damn near, they both were almost perfect. But other than that, I mean, this is what expected. KD is carrying the team. Shout out to Al Nash, because I was going to say Ant Man has played really, really, really well the last couple games as well. Derek White has played really well as well for this team. There was a lot made of him if he should even be on the team, but he's played really good. So there's been some other guys who've stepped up. You can't knock Braun. We talked about it before as well. Like at some point, Braun's age is going to show. He's going to take a step back and let some other guys carry the team. It's just crazy that even now at 40 years old, we still want to criticize Braun when he doesn't have like superstar performances. Like we still expect him to have like these spectacular performances. There's other guys that's supposed to carry the team, and that's what's happening.
Braun is there to make sure everybody doing what they're supposed to be doing. But the younger guys, they supposed to be, running and running the show. And if you see Anthony Edwards, what he's doing, he's running the show right now. He's stepping it up. Bam done stepped it up the other night. Embiid is starting to play better now. You know what I'm saying? So I respect it. Let me go to this next one from Dion's page. Steph Curry still ain't had that explosion yet.
Pause.
We might pause that one. Yeah. I think he comes in the next few.
Pause. It's the double.
Yeah.
It's the double pause.
Yeah. See, Steph Curry hasn't been shooting well these last couple of games from the 3-point arc. Now, okay. What I will say is Steph Curry is somebody who can snap his fingers and go from 0 to 60. And now and just 5 out of 6 from from behind the arc. He's got a lot of time and he's gonna continue to shoot. It ain't like, ain't nobody putting that turning the red light. That light is always gonna be green for Steph Curry to shoot the basketball. So you'll see he'll start turning up.
I'm not worried about Steph at all. We haven't needed him to be Chef Curry in the Olympics. Just the threat of him alone is enough to draw defenders and kind of create driving lanes for everyone else. So in that regard, he's doing his job, because you're always going to have to respect Steph around a 3-point line. So I'm not upset with Steph. I'm cool with it. That's fine. He's going to draw a lot of attention. It's going to open up things for everybody else. But he will, at some point, I think, have a Steph Curry moment in these Olympics.
Yep, exactly. I agree with that. Let me go to Tyson. Shout out to Tyson. I respect y'all thoughts, but this team, while good, they slightly boring. They're not exciting watching Dream Team highlights, Jordan slamming and doing crazy moves, Magic pushing it, Diamond. They lack excitement. Well, they don't have a Magic Johnson running the point guard for them either. That's passing like that. Nobody's like maybe if CP3 was on the team or something like that. Like they don't have that kind of of a point guard. But everything else they doing. Did you ain't see Anthony Edwards the other night? Braun is dunking. AD is dunking. Bam. They throwing alley oops and all that too now. They just, but they're not going to be what the dream team is. They're not the dream team. They're a different team than what the dream team was, but they're still dominating. That's the most important thing is they're dominating. These games are blowout wins, and if you think about it, it's kind of the equivalent. If you know what I'm saying, if we're talking about the level of competition difference, them winning by 25, you know what I'm saying, against guys that are actually good players from these respective countries where there's more better players than with the dream team saw. Like we gotta just enjoy the moment, man. Is then stop expecting them to be the dream team. They're Team USA, with the guys that's on this roster. That's it, and they're dominating.
Yeah, they're dominating. I think it's tough to compare them. Obviously, we're comparing them to the original Dream Team, but that's a tough comparison because that was a one of one. That was at a time we had never seen that before. The world had never seen that collection of talent all on one team. And so, unfortunately and unfairly, every team after that has been compared to the Dream Team, and it's never going to be that. You're never going to, you know, for lack of a better phrase, you're never going to have that high again, right? You chasing that one high. You're never going to have that again. The Dream Team was the Dream Team. This team is great in its own right. Whether you feel I don't even think they're better than the Redeem Team. This current team right now, the Redeem Team was great as well. And that again was built around a storyline of kind of reestablishing ourselves as the world power in basketball. We don't have that storyline anymore. We don't have those things to chase anymore. So the excitement isn't going to be the same as it was for the Dream Team or for the Redeem Team. This is just a really good team in its own right who is doing exactly what they're supposed to do. And honestly, I would rather them look the way they look now than be a team that's out there getting upset by lesser talent and losing to teams that they have no business losing to. This team still ain't lost. Yeah, they had some close games in the exhibition round, but they still ain't lost. They've been dominant now that we've gone into elimination pool play, and I think they're going to be dominant once we get into the elimination round. So I'm happy with where this team is right now.
Hey, listen, the Dream Team actually lost the game. This team ain't lose yet. But anyway, I digress. Let me go to Will Gordon's comment. They did an exhibition game, that first game they played. Matchups aside, who do y'all think should be the locked in starting five for Team USA? That's a little bit difficult to say for me because I do think the lineups need to change for certain countries because like Embiid was out of the starting lineup the other night for Jason Tatum, right? But if we're playing France, I want Embiid starting. I want Embiid, AD, Braun, Steph, and Holiday. But again, I think it does change depending on who they're playing, what country they're playing. But I will say who definitely I want Braun and Steph in the starting five no matter what country we're playing. I will say that. I would take Embiid in the starting five for most of these games. But again, they've been swapping out guys in the starting five and nothing has changed. They're still getting the same results. So, it may not matter.
I think the five that we've talked about, Embiid, for me, Embiid, AD, Braun, you can go Tatum, Curry is probably the five we'll see against France. But if you want to have him AD come off the bench and then maybe go, oh, I'm sorry, KD. I didn't even mention KD in there, which is crazy. KD got to start. I'm sorry. So Tatum would just go to the bench and it would just be Braun, KD, AD, Embiid, and Steph to me would be like probably the ideal five. But I'm cool with whatever version. I think it's a overall well-rounded team. And if you want to bring AD off the bench and then start Tatum, I'm okay with that. Though some people think that I don't like Tatum. Trip, I don't know, that narrative got started. I have no problem with Jason Tatum, but yeah, that for me, AD, Embiid, Braun, KD, and Steph would be the five.
I love it. Al Nash, what's going on, man? Ant-Man to me has taken his team in the real games. He is in kill mode. And as of the first three games with KD, is the MVP in Olympic play. Um, yeah, this is why during the season, Eric and myself were saying that Ant-Man is making that push to be the face of the league once these guys retire. Once there's no LeBron, there's no Steph, there's no KD. Ant-Man is positioning his career in a way that he's going to be the face of the NBA. And this is the stage that you really want to get that push, because this is global now. You're talking about the world, all eyes on the world. That dunk that he caught in that last game, that windmill, that's going to be running all throughout. Because that plan and the defense he's been playing as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's really been showcasing the type of basketball play that he is. He is elite. He's going to continue to get better. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's the young guy that's, the driving force.
And has been phenomenal. As you said, we think the world event Edwards. We think he's a future star in this league. So I like what I'm seeing from him, and I think next year he's going to be even better than what we saw this past year. Now that he's gained that experience from playing in the playoffs and having a deep playoff run, and now competing against the very best guys every day, I think Ant is going to take another step up next year. So I think he's going to be phenomenal. He's truly going to be in the MVP conversation next year.
Yep. Let me go to hold on, let me see what you Trip. He means he isn't scoring and taking over. I don't think he means Braun is playing bad. No, but I mean, he doesn't have to do. He had to do that in the exhibition games because those games were actually close. So yeah, he was taking over. They haven't been the game. These games haven't been close to where LeBron needs to take over. He's just playing well. That's it. He's playing good basketball. He's still filling out the stat column. He's still getting them assists. He's still getting rebounds. You know what I'm saying? And again, he's still scoring in double digits. In 40 minutes. I mean, he's not playing the whole 40 minutes, but so he's still putting up numbers. He just doesn't. There's no need for him to take over and do what? It hasn't even been close yet.
Yeah, like I said, I think Braun has done exactly what he's supposed to do. Braun is the leader and the elder statesman on the team. So he set the tone during the exhibition games. Now it's up for the younger guys to carry it. And again, this is one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because just last week we had people asking, like, oh, Braun playing at a level that he don't really consistency wise. He don't play like that for the Lakers. He trying to dominate here. It's like, well, he had to at that time. There was no KD, and some of these guys who never played on this international level, they had to, kind of get up to speed. You got to remember, for certain guys, they didn't know how the officiating was going to be on the international level. They didn't know how the competition was going to be here. For Anthony Edwards, for Derek White, for Bam Adebayo, this was kind of their first time, navigating that. So he was setting the tone. Now that the tone has already been set, now you see him able to kind of fade into the background because, Kevin Durant is back. And let's not forget how great Kevin Durant is.
And we just finished saying he's the Olympic GOAT. So I'm gonna go to Deshandre's comment here. Picture Zion Williams on the team, shaking my head. 2026 World Championship should be great, and then 2028. And again, see, this goes back to the comment that we were talking about earlier, as far as with this team, jumping out of the gym. There's probably more finesse players on this roster than there are cats that's just jumping out the gym, dunking over everybody. Because I mean, realistically, obviously Anthony Edwards, Braun is still, is still going to be dunking like that, and then your big men. But other than that, Tatum is more of a finesse style. Same thing with Halliburton, White, Holiday. None of these guys are running to the rack and throwing it and just throwing it on the cats, right? Now, here's a guy, Zion, who could play on the Olympic team. Obviously, he still needs to, to stay healthy in order to do that. But he's one guy who, hopefully, if he can stay healthy, can be on the next Olympic roster. There's another guy who got injured but was also in some trouble, and Ja Morant, who's one of the other guys who's jumping out the gym, dunking on whoever. He would have gave you, I guess, the excitement that that you guys are looking for. But again, there's more finesse style players on this team than there are guys that are just jumping out the gym, dunking on every possession.
I'm laughing because I do understand why Zion and John Morant, would bring excitement to this team. But I'm laughing also because Zion probably wouldn't play many minutes, and then that would be a gripe for people because again, Zion ain't playing over Braun, KD,
That's true too. So maybe
AD,
that's not
and
2028.
Jason Tatum. Like let's keep it a buck. Zion, I just mentioned Braun, KD, AD, and Jason Tatum. You guys in the comment section and all the supporters, let me know which one of those guys Zion will be playing over. And I guess Zion will bring a lot of excitement, but he ain't playing over them guys. But in 2026, when there is no Braun and probably KD, because I don't know if KD is gonna want to do another round of this at this point. KD, I think it's 33 right now, 32, 33.
Steph may take a one and done too, just
Yeah,
to say
Steph.
not to once if they get get the gold. But yeah,
I think Steph, Braun, KD, I think those guys will not be a part of this. And I don't think Embiid will either. Embiid is 30. So you figure by 2028 when he's 34 with his injury history, I don't think Embiid will have another go round with the Olympic team. So there will be 4 slots, I think, for this next go round where Zion, John Morant, and some of the other younger guys in the league will have the opportunity to be a part of the Olympics. But excitement wise, yeah, Zion brings that, but I just don't think he would play over the other forwards that's on his team.
yeah. Shout out to Zion. Let me go back up here. Ron said I do agree from the first 3 games. They probably the third best USA team, maybe fourth. I agree. They don't push it much. I don't know. I mean, that's that. I don't know about the rankings of all the USA team. I'd have to go back and see how many points were they winning by in the last couple of Olympics, winning these games. Because I think that's really the only comparison. If they once in order to win the gold, you pretty much winning out, right? So for the most part, so I would have to go back and see what was the point differential in the last couple of Olympics to really rank which team is better.
It's a great team. Whether they third or fourth, it's fine. Just win the gold. I don't really care where you rank historically in terms of like dream teams. Go win the gold. Win the gold, and that's all that matters.
Pretty much. Shout out to Hoop Baller Scoop, man. What's good, man? Hoop Baller Scoop always checking in, making sure we got our days right. We gonna be on point for y'all. Don't worry. We getting back on the schedule, guys.
Mhm.
But y'all got to realize they're gonna win by 30 plus. Even Shaq said it the other day. But I feel what some are saying on here with better athletes outside of Jordan and Drexler, this team should be running and high flying. Ant-Man been excited, no, but we will win the gold. But again, dear, we have more finesse players than guys that are just jumping out the gym, what I'm saying, dunking on cats like that. So it's not going to be that way. Ant-Man is, pretty much the one, because even with LeBron, who's still dunking and doing that, still he's not. It's not prime LeBron who's jumping out the gym like that. So it's still going to be, you know, you're not going to get that. You would need somebody who's a high flyer to do that. The rest of these guys, they're not dunking like that.
I just think that we're expecting a certain level of intensity and motivation from the team that just doesn't exist. Again, when you compare it to the Dream Team was trying to restore order. The Dream Team was the first of its kind, the one of one, to remind the world that this is our sport. The Redeem Team kind of was in that same mold because the Redeem Team was trying to, again, remind the world, no, USA is still the, cream of the crop when it comes to polls, when it comes to basketball. So right now, we're not in that position as a country. We don't have to remind anybody. And I think that's why we don't see that level of intensity. Now, if we were to lose these Olympics, I'm not hoping we do, then the intensity for 2028 would be completely different because then it would be about restoring order to our sport. But right now there isn't that. It's almost like a championship boxer. He hungry until he gets to the title. Once he gets to the title, he's just trying to maintain where he's at. He's that hunger doesn't exist. He's not climbing the mountain anymore. And the same thing with Team USA. They're not climbing the mountain anymore. We're just reminding everyone we are still number one when it comes to this. And so there's going to be moments where we're lackadaisical. There's going to be moments where it's like, we're just going to show you how talented we are. You're right. We can get into the half court and there's nobody in the world that can stop Kevin Durant. We know that during the regular season. We're going to show you that during the Olympics. There's nobody outside of a player on Team USA who could stop LeBron if he wants to get to the basket. The only guys that can stop him are guys that are actually on this team.
His team, yeah.
Right. So there's nobody in the world who can really guard Steph Curry if Steph decides, I want to give you 35 tonight. We know that. So that's why, like, there isn't that motivation. I think that's why everyone keeps wanting like more excitement from this team. But what is the motivation to do that? We don't have to prove anything to you. We are the
we're going to win by 25.
Right. we are the world leader in this. We will continue to win. And unless you force that out of us, like unless there's a team that challenges Team USA in a way that forces that aggression out of them, this is what you're going to see every game. They don't have to kind of take it up to another notch because nobody can compete with them on this level. So they don't even have to take it to another level.
So when a country gets it to a single digit loss, then we'll be like, all right, now let's get going, fellas. But right now, they're doing everything they have to do.
Right.
Ron Charles says USA Dream Team lost in the practice, right? Versus college teams, then played them the day, won by 50. Yeah, because that's what happens when you don't care. And I think that's kind of what we were seeing in the exhibition games where it was like these games don't matter. You know what I'm saying? But now if we lose, then yeah, we're gonna want some get back and it's gonna get ugly in the next game. That's why when they was running up the numbers on us on Sudan, so it is what it is. And yes, the Dream Team did win by 50 the next game. They did what they were supposed to do.
Hey, Ron, I think we all can relate. That Team USA, that Dream Team situation is like when you playing your nephew in Madden or 2K, and they might kind of surprise you, and then you sit up in the chair like, hold on, I'm not about to play around with you no more. That was that moment for the Dream Team. They lost that practice game, and from that moment on, it was like, all right, we're not gonna play around with you no more because y'all starting to think y'all can hang with us. And like you said, they beat that college team by 50 the next time around, and then they proceeded to beat the world by 40 plus damn near every night to the point where other teams wanted to take pictures and get autographs. They weren't even worried about what the final score was. So again, until someone brings that level of intensity and aggression out of the current Team USA, we're going to see what we're going to see. It may not be too exciting, but winning by 15 to 20 points, that's probably the norm.
Yeah. Will says he has Steph, Ant, Braun, KD, and Bam. I'm cool with that, except for Bam. I can't start Bam over Embiid or AD if, at the 5. And I no disrespect to Bam. I like Bam, but I just would have one of those two starting over Bam.
I don't mind it. I think Bam has played very well in these Olympics. He's been great off the bench. So I don't mind it if you play Bam. And I think anyone on this team is worthy of a start. Like, let's not.
Derek White. I don't think I'll be starting Derek White.
Nah, but I
definitely.
Derek White, in terms of the pecking order. No, but hear me out, Trip. In terms of the pecking order, Derek White is the 12th man on his team, right? Mm-hmm. But Derek White has played very well, and he understands his role on this team.
Absolutely.
So if Steve Kerr were to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to start all these other great scorers, right? Let's say if Steve Kerr said, I'm going to start AD, Braun, KD, Steph, and Derek White. I would still be okay with that because, again, this is someone who understands their role on the team, and you still have all these other great offensive players around Derek White. It's not as if you're saying, Derek White, go out there and now give me 15 points tonight. It's like, no, just go out there and defend and play your role around these other great scorers. Now, do I think Derek White is deserving of a start over Ant-Man, over Jason Tatum? No. Over Drew Holiday? No, he's not deserving over them, but I can understand it.
Listen, they're gonna win whoever's in the starting five, so don't
Well, what the
don't even.
what the people don't know is Trip. They try to call you in for 10 minutes at the four. They want you to come
I
in
mean,
and play the four, and you respectfully you said, you know what, I don't want to, because we seen
yeah,
how the uproar starts. People get upset when other guys don't get minutes. So if you would have got those 10 to 15 minutes, Trip, people would have been upset. And then what's going on with Steve Kerr? He's showing favoritism. He watches real fans, real talk. He's showing favoritism. So I applaud you as a man of honor and respect.
it is what it is, man. Hoopballer Scoop says, "You know who I miss on this team? Imagine John Morant on this team. He will bring that excitement." Some saying they like, yeah, that's what I said earlier when we had the Zion comment. That's what I was saying. There's two guys that could give you that kind of excitement. But one thing Eric did mention is Zion might not get that. Most likely, is not getting the minutes like that. If he gets 5 minutes a game, 5 to 8 minutes, Ja probably would get a little bit more minutes than Zion, though, because Ja, he's been consistent, playing at an elite level. And for the most part, up until this year, he's been pretty healthy.
And
Um,
I think Ja's a point guard would thrive with this team. I think Ja Zion, two different situations. I think Ja would thrive because he would really distribute and get everybody going. And it would be, I mean, a lethal pick and roll with him and AD, him and Braun. Like you definitely pick your poison because you're getting put on a post either way. Zion is a little tougher because, as we mentioned before, the forward spot is so stacked on his team. I don't think Zion could get minutes.
Will says I went with Bam because with all that offense around him, all he needs to do is board, defend, on the floor, and finish lobs. Yeah, and he's good at that. I think you know he doesn't have to be the number one option. He can you know be his third option and still contribute at a high level. So I can understand that one as well. Let me see. Do we have more USA? Let me go to this one. School Poop says in the NBA, right? Joel Embiid is the top player, but in FIBA play, he looks okay. I think Embiid wasn't in shape at first. Jason Tatum is a first teamer. Um, I think with Embiid, well, one, he hasn't up until I think this last game, he hasn't played all that well. But again, everybody doesn't look spectacular when you put all of the elite players together, right? So yes, I can look spectacular on my NBA team if I'm the best player, and on most nights I'm gonna look like I'm the best player. But if you're putting me in a pool with everyone else that's great, maybe I don't look like Superman. I still might be a superhero, but I'm just not Superman. And I think with Embiid, that's it. Because again, he's not doing what Kevin Durant is doing. He's not doing what LeBron is doing, but he's still an elite center. He's still, he you could argue make a case for Embiid as the best player in the NBA, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate into you being the best player on Team USA.
That's a fact, and I think shout out to Scoop Hoop because I think Amani was kind of angling at that same position in terms of NBA rankings compared to international play. The biggest difference, as Trip highlighted, is on your own team, you're going to get the touches, right? And B knows it's guaranteed 25 shots tonight. This offense runs through me. I get opportunities no matter when in the game. If I call for the pass, I get the pass. If I do want to do the pick and pop, I get that. If I want to get down in the post, I get that. I get whatever I want on my team. And that's what every NBA star and some superstars, they know they get that already. Team USA international play is different. You've got to integrate yourself with everyone else. And there becomes a pecking order. Like with this current team, KD got to get his shots. Steph got to get his shots. Braun got to get his shots. Oh, Tatum got to get his shots. So Embiid, I think, is struggling to find a rhythm with this team. He played better in his last game, but he is struggling to find a rhythm with this team. And that's okay. I think a lot of NBA stars struggle with that when they get to international play. You don't get the same amount of minutes on the court. You're not getting the same amount of opportunities. And then you've got to figure out a way to find your rhythm so that you don't disrupt anyone else's rhythm. So I think Embiid is just fine. That's just the way it goes in FIBA and international play.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me take Imani's comments. Imani says, so let me ask, being I know the game, but lack in some areas, Okay, LeBron is probably 10 to 12th best player. Curry 7 or 8ish. Durant 9ish. So in NBA, Tatum, Embiid, Ant-Man, AD are the best players. My question is it different? I don't know how to ask my question. Hello, well, it is different. Basically, for what Eric just said, in the NBA, as the best player on your team, you pretty much have the green light to do whatever you want, right? So in the NBA, if I'm able to jack up 30 shots a game, right? I can shoot 30 times a game. I better be averaging 27, 28 points a game. In the Olympics, I'm not going to get to shoot the ball 30 times a game. No one is. One, it's 40 minutes in comparison to 48 minutes, and it's 40 minutes with you on the same team as the best of the best of the best in basketball, right? So it's not gonna be the same. So yeah, so I could look regular amongst when it's when it's all of the elite. I could look regular amongst the elite. I'm not gonna look regular against everyone else against the field. I'm gonna look elite no matter what because my team nor any other team that I'm playing has a roster of 12 all superstars.
Yeah, I mean, one, Braun as the elder statesman and someone who's been through several Olympics, you know what to expect because the officiating is going to be different and the style of play is going to be different. So that's why I think early on Braun took the lead on this, and I'll show you guys how it's done until you guys get comfortable. The next part of it, as you mentioned, Trip, Team USA is almost like an all-star team. It's almost like a traveling AAU team where you might be the best dude in your school or in your neighborhood, but when we're with everyone else, you're not going to get the same amount of opportunities. And so there is an adjustment period there. I still wouldn't change the way I feel about Embiid. I think before the injury last year, Embiid was on the verge of being a back-to-back MVP. And in my opinion, you could debate the last 4 years MVPs between him and Joker because I think he's been right on that same level. The only difference is Joker has that one playoff run over Embiid, but I think it's just an adjustment period, and it doesn't change the pecking order of the NBA. LeBron is still where he's at in the NBA. It's just on the international level because he is acclimated with that style of play and knows what to expect. He kind of had a head start over other people, but it doesn't change the way we feel about Tatum. Even with Tatum not playing one game, it doesn't change the way we feel about Embiid just because he didn't play one game, and it doesn't even change the way we feel about Steph because Steph hasn't lit it up yet. We know who these guys are. This is just an all-star team that on some nights, some guys are going to have it, other guys aren't, as opposed to the NBA where night in, night out, you know your shots are coming. Steph knows what he's going to get in Golden State. And B knows, Tatum knows. Here on the Olympic level, you can have a night where you get 12 to 15 shots. You might get a night where you only get 6 shots. And you just got to hope that you're hot during those 6.
Pretty much. Let me go to Scoop Hoops comment here. I love Diana Taurasi. She's a WNBA GOAT, but she looks old. Caitlin Clark could have had that spot. And you know the women's team has the worst attendance and ratings. Listen, we've said before that Diana Taurasi is on the team because it's Diana Taurasi and she is the GOAT. And if she wants to be on that team, she's going to be on that team. We recognize that, but even and there was another player who could have made that team as well. Who she was second leading scorer. I can't think of her name right now. I don't want to mess it up, but she could have made this team as well. Caitlin Clark, obviously for the numbers, it would have been great, but it kind of would have still been like what Eric said with Zion, where she wasn't going to get that many minutes as well. So people's going to tune in, but she might not even get to play. Yeah, I believe that's it, Pooh. Thank you.
Caitlin Clark would have, yeah, Caitlin Clark, there would have been some games where she would have struggled to get minutes. Let's keep it a buck. But to the second part of that question from Scoop Hoop, the women's team has the worst attendance and ratings. That's where Caitlin Clark would have helped because Caitlin Clark would have brought the attention. And this is what my argument has been from day one. Let Caitlin Clark and even Angel Reese, we talked about both of the young women getting a spot on this team. They are the future of the league. So why not highlight them now? Why not promote them now as the future faces of the league. We know they aren't the current faces of the league. Asia
World
Wilson, right? Asia Wilson should be the face of the current league, but the future of the league is Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, the WNBA's version of Bird and Magic. So why wouldn't you have pushed that narrative now? And even if they didn't really play, even if they were just kind of, you know, players that you brought in for 6 to 8 minutes every game, but allowed the world to see them and they get their time in the sun. But I thought they missed a major opportunity. We know why Diana Taurasi's there to win another gold medal and set history. But the overwhelming feeling from a lot of people is she isn't deserving of it because she is past her prime. Not knocking her previous body of work, just where she's at right now. A lot of people feel she isn't deserving of that spot. And ultimately, the ratings are taking a hit because no one is interested in seeing this women's team who, like we said, they've won 58 straight games. Damn near none of these games have been close at all. Right. If we want to talk about no excitement, if we want to talk about lack of like that it factor, the women's game, they've been so dominant that no one is paying attention. And so you're seeing it translate to, and that's not to be, that's not to be disrespectful to them, but it's just the facts, Trip. No one's paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Like they're dominating on a level that people aren't even tuning in because no one even expects these games to be close. So at least if you would have thrown Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese on a team, there would have been that it factor of like, hey, at least I want to tune in and see what they do. We don't even have that.
Especially when and now, when everything is full circle, when Diana Taurasi is not playing well at all. And it's just like, dang, all right, well, now you really could have put them on this team. She's not even playing well, so it's like they don't even need her here, either. So it is what it is. I'm sure they are going to continue dominating. When we get back next week, we'll have more Olympic talk. But I am excited because again, football season is here, and I said there was a whole bunch of football questions in these comments. We're going to get through all of them. The Hall of Fame game, Bears versus Texans, it did get cut short. I think it was Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
So it wound up getting cut short. But does mean that the NFL is back, which I'm excited about. Let me just DeAndre Hopkins though, which kind of sucks for him. He's gonna be out. They're saying 4 to 6 weeks. He'll be out. Hopefully he's back. He's back before then, but he was injured. Let me go to Deshaundre Washington's comment. Dak on leaving the Cowboys, not being naive to that. Buying this is Dak's year in Dallas. No, I don't think so. Unless Dallas is planning on tanking it and just losing every game, which their team is too good for them to really tank it. Because even if, let's just say, you're like, all right, we're gonna bench Dak so we could tank this season, and you put Cooper Rush in, he's still pretty good too. He gonna win some games when you got CD Lamb out there. That defense that they have is really good, so that's not gonna happen. And which means that what other quarterback are you going to be able to sign who's better than Dak Prescott? Who is there? Who's out there that's better than Dak Prescott that you can actually sign? Because first of all, there aren't too many quarterbacks in this league that are better than Dak Prescott, right? Because I don't think he's outside of the top 10, which means that anybody for the most part that's better than him is already locked in a contract. Anybody that's just as good as him is already locked in the contract. So unless you plan on you just giving up your future for the next couple of years and saying we're just not gonna, have an elite starting quarterback, and for the foreseeable future. But no, I don't. I think they work it out, and Dak winds up signing his next contract with the Cowboys.
I expect Dak to be there. Jerry Jones has shown nothing over the last 30 years of wanting to rebuild. He's always willing to try to keep some sort of relevancy and keep a team together. So I don't think Dak is out of there. I do think though that for Dallas, this is it. And I don't think they're on the level with the 49ers or with the Eagles. I don't think they're on the level with the Lions or even the Packers. But I do think that for the Cowboys, this is it. They've spent a lot of money on that team. And the fact that they can't get out of the second round of the playoffs, and for most years they can't even get out the first round of the playoffs. Dak's new contract and new deal is going to handicap them in a way that's really going to like submarine this team. There's talent. We got an episode from 3 years ago, Trip, when they lost to the 49ers the first time in the playoffs, where I said, and this was directed at Mike McCarthy, you got Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, Pro Bowl caliber receiver, Pro Bowl caliber running backs, Pro Bowl caliber offensive lineman, Pro Bowl caliber defensive lineman, Pro Bowl caliber secondary, Pro Bowl caliber linebackers, and you still can't get out of the first round of the playoffs. With Dak's new contract, if they can't win this year, and I don't mean just, oh, they got to the NFC Championship. No, if they cannot win a Super Bowl this year, the window is officially closed on the Dak Prescott era Cowboys, because his new contract is going to handicap them in a way that won't allow them to bring any other talent really around him. So it is do or die for them. But Jerry Jones, again, his history has shown he is not willing to ever give away a season or give away 2 seasons to rebuild. He's going to continue to keep putting a Band-Aid on this thing and be okay with just being America's team with a high profile quarterback and a high profile player, as opposed to building a real winner.
Yeah. Let me go to this next comment. Hold on. Okay, I like this one. Kevin Carter says, shout out to Kevin Carter. Should Fields be ahead of Wilson on the depth chart right now? No, I think I would go with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson actually had a solid year this past season. He's the more experienced of the two quarterbacks. He is a Super Bowl champion. He does know how to win. I think that Fields can learn a lot from Russell Wilson because they're similar quarterbacks. Obviously, Justin Fields is faster and he does run a lot more, but Russell Wilson can scramble as well. So I think it would be a good opportunity to let Fields sit and learn. And then if things start going downhill, all right, then we take Russell Wilson now and we go with Fields. But even last season, they took Russell Wilson out and he was actually playing well. They didn't even want him to play them last couple of games, during the season. I think that Pittsburgh is a much better organization, and I think it's going to benefit Russell Wilson. Um, they got some weapons out there too, some wide receiver weapons. They got a pretty good 1-2 punch at running back. So I think Russell Wilson can do well, and in that same token, I think Justin Fields will get a lot from watching Russell Wilson, and then more than likely, because I think Russell Wilson is on a 1-year deal, if I'm not mistaken. And then the next season, then you go with Justin Fields. I want to be your QB of the future.
Yeah, I don't think Justin Fields, though I'm a fan of his, I don't think he's shown enough to be ahead of Russell Wilson on the depth chart. Pittsburgh is a team that's looking to compete right now, so you go with the more established quarterback whose body of work lets you know and gives you a clear indication as to what he can provide, and I think that's Russell Wilson. But Justin Fields, this is a great opportunity for him to kind of sit back, learn not only this offense, but also learn the way of being a true starting quarterback in the league. I think Justin Fields was in a very tough position with the Bears where he was thrown in. They had different head coaches, different offensive coordinators, and he never got a chance to really learn. So this is his chance to learn and just sit back and wait to take over from Russell Wilson. And if that happens midseason, great. If it happens at the end of the season, great. But more importantly, I would not rush Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields gives you much more long-term potential. But in the short term, Russell Wilson should be your guy, and Pittsburgh will probably be a playoff team with Russell Wilson as their quarterback.
Yeah. Let me go to. Hold on, let me go check this next comment here. Okay, here we go. Kevin Carter says, rather have Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts. Dak ranked 16th, Hurts 15th on the top 100 list. I gotta go with Jalen. He's shown he can win in the playoffs. Obviously, they didn't get the job done in the Super Bowl, but that's Patrick Mahomes on the other side. So I will I'm gonna go Jalen Hurts.
I would
Yeah,
go
close.
I would go Jalen as well. Jalen is younger. Jalen has proven that he can win playoff games. And if not for an incredible second half by the Kansas City Chiefs, we're talking about Jalen Hurts as a Super Bowl winning quarterback as well. So I would take Jalen Hurts until Dak Prescott shows that he can go on a playoff run. It's always going to be Jalen Hurts over Dak Prescott. I can't hear you, Trip.
So yeah, I agree with you on that one, Eric. Kyrie Thompson says Josh Allen ranks 12th on the top 100 list. It's too high, too low, or just right. Um, I guess I guess I'm okay with it. You know they rank the quarterbacks higher anyway. Um, I guess yeah. I'm okay with it, man, because I think there's like a bunch of quarterbacks that are like in that circle where there's like Mahomes, um, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. Then there's like a maybe like five quarterbacks that are like all around the same. And I think any one of those guys could be ranked the highest, depending on what you need this day of the week. So I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it. I'm not a fan of the list though, because I just think it's crazy that Tyreek Hill would be number one on the list. I'm sorry. And I like Tyreek Hill, and I think he is a phenomenal game changer in the league. I don't even think Tyreek Hill is the best wide receiver in football, let alone should be the number one overall player in the league. But Josh Allen at 12, I think is fair. The quarterbacks they got ranked ahead of him, Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, are probably ranked ahead of him. I think for the most part, everyone ahead of him. The only one that you could really, I think, make a case for, and I like his game as well, Max Crosby, who's number 10. I don't know if I would put him ahead of Josh Allen just because of the impact that they have on the game. Max Crosby's a great player, but Max Crosby doesn't have a greater impact on a game than what Josh Allen can create. And you can have debates about where Max Crosby lands amongst defensive players as well. Like, should he be number 10 or should he be a little lower? So that might be the one guy. Everybody else I agree with. I think Travis Kelce, who's ahead of Josh Allen on the list, is better. I think Chris Jones is better. Obviously, Mahomes, Lamar. I don't mind Tyreek being ahead of him. I just don't think Tyreek's the number one player. Christian McCaffrey, all those guys I think are better than Josh Allen. But I guess 12th is pretty accurate. I think maybe he could have gone up a spot or two.
Let me go to Al Nash. She says, buying this explanation from Purdy, Brock on interceptions. Now's the time to experiment. I would say before you start experimenting, make sure they re-sign Brandon Ayuk. So you have all of your weapons out there. So that's the advice I give you. But I think he is at a point in his career where they will start to open the offense up a little bit more for him. And again, I mean, you have to allow your quarterback to elevate. I think that they have the weapons around him on both offense and defense to compensate if, let's say, he throws four more interceptions this season. I think they'll still be able to win pretty much the same amount of games they were going to win during the regular season because they have a team that can, cover him. If he's not throwing well one game, McCaffrey can pick it up, run the football. Those receivers, they're gonna make plays. He has two of the best receivers. I think Ayuk is like 10th in the Madden ratings right now. And then you have maybe the second best tight end in football with George Kittle. The tight end has always been a security blanket for QBs. And then they have, one of the most, if not the most dominant defense in football, and that makes up for a lot because they force a lot of turnovers. So yeah, you know what I think, I think this is what is going to be his third year now. This is Brock's third season.
Third years, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think it's time for them to start opening up the offense, open up the passing game a little bit more. He has the weapons to where, you know, we always say an elite receiver can take a good QB to the next level. He already has those things. He has two great wide receivers. He has a top three tight end. He has arguably the best running back, and they got a damn good backup running back as well. And then again, they have that defense who that can compensate for anything that goes wrong on the offensive side of the football.
This is the time to experiment, though. This is the time of year when head coaches implement some new plays into the playbook, and you start working on different formations and schemes. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, they're in training camp. They're working on some new things. Also, this is a very good defense he's going up against in practice. So I would not be expecting him to light up that defense. That defense is going to have their moments as well. So I'm okay with that. I don't, if we get into week 3, week 4, and he keeps throwing interceptions, then that's a different conversation. But right now, when we're still 3 weeks away from the regular season and they're working on some stuff in practice, it's cool. I'm cool with it.
Yep. Let me go to this next comment here. How big is this year for Aaron Rodgers' legacy? Um. Okay, so I'll say this: if he doesn't win, it's not like he goes backwards. He's still Aaron Rodgers. He's still one of the best to do it. He's still, going to be a Hall of Famer. If he does win the Super Bowl though with this Jets team, I think pushes him. That will push him up on the top 10. In all time list. With a second Super Bowl ring, when you combine that with the MVPs and everything else that he's been able to accomplish, I think he's one of those quarterbacks that a ring, a second championship would do a lot for his legacy.
Another ring, I think, pushes him into the top 4 all time. Correct me if I'm wrong, Trip. When we did our Mount Rushmore, we had no particular order: Brady, Mahomes, uh, Peyton Manning, and Joe Montana on our
Yes.
Mount Rushmore. So another ring, I think, could push Rodgers over Peyton Manning in our Mount Rushmore. Right now, I have him in that same range as like a John Elway, just outside of the top 4. So um, winning could help his legacy. I don't think anything else hurts his legacy. No matter how this ends, he's a 4-time MVP. He's a Super Bowl champion. He ranks very high on a lot of the passing lists. And you could make a case for a long time he was the most gifted quarterback in the game. I mean, Brady, we know Brady was the best quarterback, but in terms of like the physical tools, Aaron Rodgers was probably the most gifted quarterback for a long time in the game. So I don't think losing in any way hurts his legacy, but winning could help his legacy and kind of push him up higher on the all-time list.
Yep, exactly. Ron Charles says the 2024 Pro Bowl Hall of Fame class: Dwight Freeney, Devin Hester, Andre Johnson, Julius Peppers, Patrick Willis, Randy Radishir, Steve McMichael. Shout out to my guy Steve Mongo McMichael. Did y'all watch? And overall thought? I mean, what can I say about this class? It's a very great class. Shout out to Raheem Brock, who was on that same line with Dwight Freeney. Came on the show a couple of months ago now. But yeah, all these guys are deserving. Um, gotta love it, man. Shout out to all these guys. Congratulations.
Absolutely. It's a really, really good class, all very well deserving. Shout out to Devin Hester. I love what he said when he mentioned, there were a lot of other great returners who deserved the honor of being in the Hall of Fame. He just happened to be the first. Dwight Freeney really, really, like, I don't want to say changed the defensive end position, but he made us look at it differently because he was an undersized D lineman, but his ability and his speed to get to the quarterback kind of changed the way you drafted and you started looking for guys like that. We know about Julius Peppers and how he came into the league and what he was able to do. I thought for a long time Patrick Willis was the best linebacker in football
Yes,
with those 49er days. So I think all those guys,
stayed.
yeah, all those guys very well deserving and kudos to them and shout out to them.
Mhm. Ron says the GOAT Michael Jordan was mentioned twice by Peppers and Freeney. I mean, it's the GOAT.
He's good friends with both of them. Julius Peppers was a Team Jordan athlete, and they have a great relationship. And I didn't realize Dwight Freeney and Mike have a really good relationship. There was a lot of pictures circulating of them prior to his speech and after his speech.
All right, let me knock out a couple of these random comments here. Hold on, let me go. Okay, Tyson says Noah Lyles wins gold in men's 100 meter. He sets a personal best to win by a hair. Yep. If you don't remember Noah Lyles, he was the one that had them comments about the USA team and basketball versus these other sports and whatever. I'm glad he took home the gold, as I'm sure Team USA is gonna get the job done and take home the gold too. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, congrats to him. And it looks like he's going to be the first athlete for Dwayne Wade's nail polish line. Dwayne Wade shouted him out for having his nails done as well.
I'm gonna go to this next question. What's on Shakari Richardson's performance and Simone Biles winning gold? Um, Simone Biles is my hero. That's all I'm gonna say. Shout out to Simone Biles. She could do no wrong. She is one of the greatest Olympic athletes ever, and she does it again and again and again. She definitely deserves her flowers. As far as Shakari goes, she won the silver medal. I'm glad that she made it to the Olympics after what happened last time. She made it to the Olympic team and she got the silver medal. I would have loved for her to get the gold. But I'm just happy for her that she's in the Olympics.
Yeah, I thought I know her individual performance, people were, wanting a gold there, but she had a great performance in a relay. And Simone Biles, again, we talk about goals, we talk about legacy. I mean, she just continues to add on to that amazing legacy and that amazing resume. So shout out to both those young ladies.
Shout out to Pooh. Pooh says she's saying Cayenne. Yeah, Cayenne Anthony is officially the number one New York State prospect on ESPN for class of 2025. His game is growing. He grinds. Yes, he does. He's a legacy kid, and he's been hooping for a while now. Again, and I've told you guys this before, but he played for the same high school that my goddaughter went to. So I was, hearing about him, from way back, and now to see what he's able to do and watching him play and seeing how well rounded he is as a player, I'm happy for him that he's the number one, prospect in the 2025 class.
We talked about Cayenne last week, and someone had asked, like, him comparison to Bronny, and I thought he was a better prospect, is a better prospect because of his skill set. Shout out to him, man. He's put in the work. Like I say, he's had a really good summer in some of these tournaments, and it's well deserved. This is truly building it from the ground up because he was not highly ranked 2 years ago. So to see his progression, obviously he had a growth spurt. He's at 6'4" now, but to see his progression and the work he's put in the off season, you see a lot of the videos, him working out with his dad, him working out with trainers, getting to this point. It is well deserved. And I am truly excited to see where he decides to take his game at the next level. Because as I mentioned last week, Trip, I think one, if not both, of his teammates are over at Rutgers now. Both those young men are highly touted draft prospects. I wonder if Cayenne will follow and stay close to home at Rutgers, possibly St. John's, or follow his dad's route and go to Syracuse.
Listen, I wouldn't mind him going to Rutgers too, because we're gonna be at
we got the plug over there.
Soon as our main man Rocco, what I'm saying, get that starting spot. He probably gonna redshirt this year as a freshman. But as soon as Rocco take over at the quarterback position for Rutgers, we up in there. We gonna hit a couple of games up with my main man Rocco. He get to that starting spot, Oh my goodness. But really quick before we get up out of here, we do got to talk a little bit of boxing. I'm gonna kind of breeze through because we're in overtime right now. But Terrence Crawford still undefeated. Got the job done, won the belt, moved up in weight yet again. Talk to me about his performance last night, Eric.
It was a tough, gritty fight. Again, he was moving up in weight, so it wasn't going to be as explosive as he had been at 147. And I think that's something that gets lost on a lot of fans. That's why there are weight classes in boxing, because sometimes the power and the skill don't really translate. You could have the skill, but you're fighting a bigger individual, and sometimes you have a little more struggle. So he had moments in that fight where he didn't look as sharp, and that's okay. He hadn't fought in over a year since he beat Spence. Crawford, to me, is still one of the top three guys in the sport right now. I don't know though. I'm gonna be honest, Trip. Watching that performance last night, it did kind of remind me, like, yeah, maybe Canelo might be a bit of a reach for you.
For
You know, right? Like, because again, we're talking about Canelo who consistently fights at 160, 168, even as high as 175. And we know the type of power Canelo brings. So he was getting touched with shots yesterday that is like, I don't know if I would want to see you in against Canelo. But regardless of all that, shout out to Terrence Crawford. He got the job done, and I'm hoping to see him in a bigger fight in his next fight.
maybe one more fight at this weight before taking the Canelo fight, because that fight last night was actually pretty close. And again, I
Yeah,
do understand, you lose a little bit of power moving up in weight. So I do understand that. But seeing this fight again, I said the same thing. I don't think he's ready for Canelo, who would not be someone, because I believe he had less than 20 fights under his belt. We're talking about with Canelo, we're talking about the elite of the elite at the class. So that's a whole different, what I'm saying, ball game. So I don't know if he's necessarily ready for Canelo right now. I know that would be the biggest payday. But I will say this before we start wrapping things up. Big shout out to Dazin, because that, and I told you this during the fight, Eric. I said that was one of the best full cards that I've seen in boxing in a very long time. Not cool with the majority draw in the Ruiz Big Baby fight, but I get it. You know what I mean? Big Baby could have did a little bit more to guarantee himself the victory. But
I thought.
overall,
No, I was gonna say I thought we were texting during that fight. I thought Big Baby started slow in that fight, and he gave up some rounds. Not taking anything away from Andy Ruiz, but it almost seems like the first 4 rounds, Big Baby kind of was just like waiting, 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 and he allowed Ruiz to bank some rounds. And then I think it was in the fifth round, might have been a fifth or sixth, where we were texting, and I said like Ruiz looks gassed. He doesn't have much left, and that's when Baby kind of started going off in that fight. So I think if he would have started a little earlier, he wins that fight easily.
yeah, exactly. And then I thought if he would have if he did, he should have won the eighth round. He did, and then I knew
Yeah,
when that was going to be, because once you Ruiz ran the first four straight,
yeah,
won the first four. So that eighth round was the one where it's like you have to win this to guarantee yourself the fight. You win that, it's over. You win. You know
yeah.
what I mean? But again, shout out to both those guys. I actually wouldn't mind seeing them fight again. Get a little rematch in. But Eric, give me your final thought, man.
Final thought, as always, shout out to all the supporters. We greatly appreciate it for rocking with us. As you guys know, football season is right around the corner, which means the Sanchez Show Friday Night Live is back. We're coming back this Friday, 8:30 p.m. Will Gordon will be there. Trip, I'm sending you the invite, so you already know my brother. Lock in with us. Come online with us, because we got some topics regarding this upcoming NFL season. Be on the lookout, Trip. I'm gonna steal your thunder as well. Let everybody know. Be on the lookout. Real fans, real talk fantasy football. We coming back this year. I'm dedicated and I'm committed to this team, Trip, that I'm about to draft. We're
I ain't
dedicated.
mad. I'm
I
not
need
mad.
the trophy, Trip. I need the trophy. All right, so I'm ready to
Listen,
go for this year.
we got one spot left. So if you guys do want to rock out with us and get into the fantasy football league, just send us an email or message us on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and let us know you want to be in the league, and I'll put you down. Um, Oh, for my final thought, it's Leo season. Shout out to the Leo gang. If y'all see me out this week, get a shot with your boy, because I'm gonna be outside this week, getting to it, having a little bit of fun, and enjoying, my these mature years in my life. So come out, have a shot with me. If you're gonna be in New York, in the New York area this week, pull up on your boy. Um,
I got one more thing to
but
say, Trip. Yeah. I was gonna give you the shout out on a Friday night live because you and my daughter, my youngest daughter, birthdays are back to back. So
right,
I,
that's
I was I was
right.
already thinking about that. I want to
That's
put this
20.
out there. That's twin. I want to put this out there for the followers though, because Trip and I, we always talk about how we can expand the show. So obviously, we want your thoughts and opinions on what we can do to grow the brand. But we also been talking about what games we want to get to this fall and winter. So lock in with us. Let us know where we should be thinking about taking a road trip to. Maybe we catch a game with you guys out there somewhere on the road, man. Let us know, because we're trying to move around. And last year, Trip came down to Baltimore. This year, we're already talking about where we want to go to, the next city we want to go to watch a game. Let us know where you guys are at. Let us know what teams you root for, and maybe we can pull up to your city and watch a game with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. With that being said, make sure you guys are following us on all our social media: Instagram, Twitter at Real Fan Talk, Facebook.com/Real Fans Real Talk, and of course, subscribe to that YouTube channel, YouTube.com/For the Fans Productions. And don't worry if you're not in the New York City area on Thursday nights and you can't watch us on Verizon 43 from 8 to 9 p.m. You can catch us anywhere in the world. All you got to do is go to that website right there, realfansrealtalk.com. Click that red button on the homepage, and you can watch from anywhere in the world. And make sure you guys subscribe to the two best podcasts out here moving, the Sanchez Show and the Real Fans Real Talk podcast. Once again, if you do want to rock out with us in the Fantasy Football League, just shoot us an email. Instagram, Twitter, whatever, Facebook, message us. Let me know. Send me your email, and I will add you to that last spot. It looks like you're gonna have some competition because Eric said he's coming to play football this year. He's winning this thing, so
I'm
you
locked
might
in. I'm
get your
locked in.
yes.
Y'all done messed up because I'm locked in now.
Start doing your homework. Okay, all right. I guess it's closed. They just sent me. It's over. It's over. It's over. Sorry, guys. Don't worry. We'll get you guys next year, right? If it opens back up, the slider on the fantasy football roster has been filled. So with that being said, for myself, Trip Young, my brother, my co-host Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games, we're up out of here. Peace.